here's the bottom line, and this is not just for Russell Westbrook, it's for any player and any fan. You as the player, the professional, need to take it unless the fan crosses a line. And you as a fan have the right to deliver it as long as you don't cross the line. That's it. You know, what are the ground rules for this sort of thing is an athlete, you have to try not to have rabbit ears, try not to hear it, try to fight through it. But if it is something so beyond the pale, you have to react to it as a man, as a woman, depending on whatever the sport. And you as a fan have every right as a paying customer to get into the game, but not cross the line. Don't be disruptive to the fans around you, and certainly don't say anything profane, racist, off the chart to the athlete, because now you've crossed the line. It's really that simple. And as an athlete, you cannot threaten fans. You can't threaten them. They're the paying customers. And you certainly can't threaten their wives, their spouses. You can't do that. You cannot say, I'm going to F up your wife too. Unless she's barking something that goes across the line. Also, you can go back at the fan, but you can't say, I'm going to put hands on a woman. You know how I feel about that sort of thing. And I'm sure Russell Westbrook does as well. And you could sit here and say, again, $1 million athlete should be able to handle it. Makes millions of dollars. Okay. We have no idea what Russell Westbrook came to work yesterday, but we can assume because he doesn't really like that arena, and he's got some history with fans there already, slapping at somebody's camera phone, or we can't say that anymore. Every phone has a camera. Slapping at somebody's phone as he was exiting the arena after a playoff loss last year, series loss last year. See, he's already coming in hot. And then apparently what he says, this fan said to him, is why don't you get on your knees like you're used to? Okay, I don't even know where that comes from or what the hell that would possibly mean from this guy's mouth. I don't know his intentions coming into the game. But Russell Westbrook sure took it the way that you would think that a professional athlete and person of color would take it. So he starts barking at this guy. This is what he had to say after the game last night.
And if I had to do it over again, I would say the same exact thing, because I truly will stand up for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my wife, for my mom, for my dad every single time. I expect anybody else to do the same. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole situation. As for beating up his wife, I've never put my hand on a woman. I never will. Never been in any domestic violence before, never have before. But once he said the comment, his wife repeated it, the same thing to me as well. So that's kind of how that started. I know you guys only got the tail end of the video, but the start of the video is way more important and way more disrespectful than what you guys heard. So appreciate y'all.
All right, so that was the end of it. And then the fan got his 15 minutes of fame, not just with this video, but gave an interview locally as the fans were all out of the arena, it looks like. Game over. Here was the fan last night.
Russ is just F-bombing and carrying on, acting a fool down here, and everybody's getting on him. And he had, I guess, heat. I thought it was ice. I just told him, I'm like, just sit down and ice your knees, bro. And he turned to me and he's like, that's heat. And I'm like, well, you're going to need it. And then it turned into not safe for work. Initially, I was like, oh, I'm talking with Westbrook, you know? I mean, the guy's one of the greats, but he's also classless. I don't care. He can threaten me all he wants. I was the one talking to him, but don't threaten a woman. She's 5 feet tall and 110 pounds, man. I mean, never said a word to him. Her first NBA game ever. Welcome to the NBA, Jen.
Welcome to the NBA. I'm sure that is going to land like a lead balloon in the front offices of the NBA today, where I'm assuming a fine is coming for Russell Westbrook. You could say, hey, how could he be fined? We have no idea what the hell happened. All you could see is he is threatening a woman fan at an NBA game, at her first NBA game, apparently. And again, I tread into these waters trepidatiously. We have no idea what she said. But you can't say I'm going to screw up a woman. I can't even use the language that was used. And in terms of this fan, thankfully, it's the 21st century. And if you want to, well, thankfully, it's the 21st century. And now we might know what was in his heart or his intentions. You'd look at his Twitter feed, and again, you don't know what's real, what's fake anymore in this day and age. He certainly hasn't portrayed Russell Westbrook on his Twitter page as one of the greats of all time. He focuses more on the classless in his mind, and it's a lot more crass than class. And that's putting it mildly. So wading into these waters is problematic. The NBA has to wade into it because one of their star players is threatening to beat up a woman and a fan. Thank goodness he didn't go in the crowd. If what was said was as bad as Russell says it was. The whole thing is just unfortunate. Unfortunate. And, obviously it makes what happened with Dolan yesterday like a walk in the park. But an owner should just keep walking when a fan screams, sell the team.
Right.
There's nothing profane there. The owner should just keep walking. Or, I'm not going to go down the wormhole. I promise you. I promise you.
But the show just started.
No, but I have thought about it a lot more.
Right.
Or go up to the fan and say, hey, I know you want me to sell the team. I love this team as much as you do. We're trying. Stick with us.
Sure.
And keep walking.
Then keep walking. Yeah.
He could have had a bad day, too, with his billions of dollars. I understand, and they just lost. But still, you're an owner of the team. You're a representative of the National Basketball Association. I don't know what the league's going to do, but I think something's going to be coming down for Russ, and maybe, just maybe, they should move the fans back a little bit. Will that work? Think about it.
So nobody on courtside, pretty much?
Think about it. Scott Boras is joining us in hour 2, baseball agent extraordinaire. His clients are in a dugout, okay? His clients are in an on-deck circle. His clients are on base. His clients are usually, if they are stationed, first base, third base, right field, center field, left field, many, many yards from fans. You could still hear it.
Oh, yeah, you could totally.
You can still hear it. Certainly those can get some serious
Definitely
voice.
you
You can still hear it, certainly if there's only 5,000 people in the park. Yeah. An umpire once ejected somebody for giving the number of a street that he should be living on, thinking it was a profane number. Remember that? A few years ago that happened? In Philadelphia that happened.
Shocking.
Okay, so, football, players are in the bench area, and it's loud in those stadiums. Unless it's the fourth quarter and the game's over. Hockey, you're behind glass. Basketball, this guy could have been sitting at the end of the bench. They're right there. Joel Embiid almost killed Regina King before she could pick up her Oscar in Madison Square Garden a few weeks ago when he jumped over her. You remember that? And they're right. Everyone's right there. In the NBA, giving those seats, that's money. That's serious money. But maybe, just maybe, give everyone a little room here. And I don't want to broad brush paint the Utah Jazz fans either. I don't mean to be so reasonable here, folks. But, again, players can't threaten women. Fans can't cross a line. And they definitely can't go on the court, and the players can't go in the stands. And the rest of it is all basically detail dependent. What was said, what was not, because you can't cross the line. And certainly you're so tough to say that sort of stuff to somebody's face. But if you're right there, literally 2 feet away, you're lucky Russell didn't go into the stands. Everybody's lucky about that.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.